So, hello everybody, good morning again on the Sunday, where today we are truly honored to have our special guest with us. He's a content writer, editor, director, filmmaker, poet, and extraordinary storyteller. Mr. Chandradeep Das, from being a co-writer to his legendary father to crafting global acclaimed films with heart and vision. His journey is truly amazing and inspiring for all of us. So get ready for an insightful conversation on creativity, cinema, and everything in between. I welcome you on the show, sir, and it's our honor to have you. Next on the screen is you, so we would expect the audience to know more about you from the man himself. So please, yeah, tell us something about yourself.
Thank you. Thank you a lot. Yeah, I'm really happy to be a part of this podcast. And yeah, I look forward to sharing more about my journey, about my filmmaking journey, and in general about what other things I'm doing apart from filmmaking also. So yeah, I'm looking forward to telling more stories here. Yeah.
Okay, so we are really excited to have more talk on your short films and the idea, the creativity, because it's very different to have a director on the show, and then we just want to know how things work in your brain. So, which because of which you're able to produce such nice films. So, is it different from the normal people? How things work? What is the chemical reaction going inside the brain? So, let's go ahead with the show. And the first question that we want to pose to you is about your creativity and your influence. So you started your journey as a co-writer to your father's last film, which is a really emotional connect, I can assume. So a deeply personal collaboration initially. So how did you experience in that collaboration? How does that shape your filmmaker career, and then what legacy from your father you look forward to take as a vision in your present career?
Yeah. So I think I was only 12 years of age when my father made Shanj Bati Kotara, Strokes and Silhouettes, which is one of the most acclaimed Bengali films of the century. It was one went to many film festivals abroad, won a lot of awards, and was commercially successful as well, despite being an extremely art house film. From there on, my father's films were tagged as described by critics as poetry on celluloid. And watching that film and growing up in the same household, I think I was inspired from a very tender age, and I wanted to be a filmmaker. But I waited, and when I was 20, I started assisting my father. And started assisting me like from writing continuity sheets, then moving on to checking for continuity, action continuity, and all the stuff from like the fifth edit to fourth to third. So it was a gradual progress. There was no preferential treatment from my father. And that helped me learn, the nitty gritty of filmmaking, like the onset experience that everyone wants. So I was privileged for that. So I assisted and co-wrote the screenplay, and that was the first time I delved into a screenplay, and I kind of started working from the scratch for my dad's last film, The Mystic Wind, which premiered in at IFI, International Film Festival of India in 2013, and he passed away after 7 months, and in June 2014. So my father has been a huge influence in guiding me, like, and also shaping me, like what films I want to make. The best thing was that he never imposed anything on me, so I was free to do or free to choose what type of films I want to make, what type of stories I want to tell. And so that was quite good. When I look back on it, I feel that that is something quite, quite it was a good thing on my dad's part. If I ever have to tell my child, I'll never do that. So yeah, no imposition, but I was just free to do whatever I want. But I was so influenced by his films and the film directors he liked, so that had a strong influence on me.
Okay, that's very interesting. Actually, I can understand the emotional connect you have for this film, and but you're lucky enough that you actually got the chance to learn with him through his experience and on the set, because that's very important, I guess. Because otherwise, even when we get to know about the other producers and directors, they also have they served on the set with somebody else to learn and fun
Yeah,
their
yeah,
skills
yeah.
before they could do their own. So yeah, that's very important, and especially getting from your father is almost like a blessing. Okay, so moving to the next question that we want to know from you is about your international and the global reach that you have. and about the different festivals. So your films have traveled to the global festivals so far, right? And recently also you
Yeah.
have been to a award function, which is Kashish 2025. So how does that, being from that domain, how does it feel, that international circuit influence? How does that influence your way of storytelling, then especially centered around the elderly women? So what's the basic idea, and how does that feel basically for you?
Look, film festivals always act as nourishment, I feel. I've been to several festivals abroad as well. I went to my first festival in Spain, I think with my father. It was way back in 2008. And yeah, that was a novel experience for me. It opened up a whole new world. We interact and I network with so many people, and you learn about their culture, their customs, and the feedback they provide for your films. That actually opens for a lot of avenues, because then you can see what type of films, what other people also like, the communities also like, and which region or which place or which community like this type of narrative better or that. So you do all these permutation combination in your head when you interact with so many people from so many different cultures, and that's why it's important for filmmakers to travel with their films and not just sit at home and wait for the feedback from the festival authorities. Hey, your film was screened, it was great. No, it is difficult also, because you need money to travel, and festivals back in when my father used to make films in the early at the turn of the century, that time festivals used to cover for your travel expenses. But nowadays festivals do not cover for your travel expenses, only the big ones do that. So I think with your festival, with your film to film festivals. But yeah, I try to do that, especially with this film, with my recent short film. I'm really trying to make it to all the festivals we can, and it makes a hell lot of difference, not for this project only, but for also your future projects. The connections you make, the bonds you forge, that kind of, it gives to new narratives in your head, and it gives birth to new stories, and that's where things happen. I had an interaction with a woman filmmaker at Fribourg, I even remember, and we discussed we can collaborate on a script, and she's probably going to co-write my feature film also. So you never know how things will happen.
Right.
So you just have to be there. So yeah, exposure and networking are two important things that filmmakers look for always at festivals. And yeah, I mean, I look forward to traveling to more fests with this film, at least at some point in time.
Yeah, it's very important actually. I would agree with you. Networking important just as a filmmaker, but also in other domains also. Networking is very important everywhere. So as you build more
Yeah.
contacts, you can use that in your official work. Okay, so about your visual styles and the thematic signatures that you have had so far. So you mentioned a recurring presence of elderly women in your short films and a distinct use of the candle lights in your scenes. So can you tell us more about that? The artistic choices that you make. So are they intuitive? Are they symbolic, or what? Are they both? Just dive us through more details about your short films and the idea.
Um, Regarding the elderly woman part, I think it's just happenstance.
Okay.
It's difficult to explain. I think when I was making Jasmine, then it just suddenly dawned upon me that, hey, wait, all my short films that I've made, the protagonists are elderly women or old women,
Okay.
and so I just it was then I realized, is it happenstance or there is something else. I think I want to make films. I want to make. I'm naturally attracted to feminist novels and feminist stories. I have gorged on a lot of woman-centric stories, and many feminist writers are really like favorites of mine. So, including 20th century writers like Virginia Woolf, Sylvia Plath, Anne Sexton, or even Christine de Pizan, who was the first feminist writer. So I have read their books extensively. This was even before conducting the research for the feature film I'm making. So having read their stories, I'm always interested in telling stories about women. I think that also has that's one of the reasons. Another reason, I have no idea. Probably I have a lot of empathy for elderly people. I think that has some bearing on it, but I don't know. It's just a strange coincidence that all the protagonists in my film. So the first short film, the In Ireland in Loving Memory, I made. It was a woman who commissions her own tomb. So basically, a morbid old woman, very cantankerous, extremely touchy, and the second protagonist was someone who's revengeful, who had suffered a trauma in her childhood days, who was molested and raped by a man, and she's trying to seek revenge. And in Jasmine, we are dealing with two queer elderly women in an old age home who fall in love. So different. There's a lot of you can see. They're not the same. They're coming from the different backgrounds also. But
Right.
yeah, so yeah, this is probably the reason. And regarding the candlelight, I have thought about it because it was pointed to me in by a friend actually, who watched this short film of mine, and he said that he's a cinephile. He has exposure to a lot of world cinema. So he told me, I have noticed something in your film that you always tend to shoot one major scene or a couple of main scenes in candlelight, and you deliberately have that, do that in your script. So I'll tell you honestly, this has a reason, and the reason is that, as I told you, my father's films have inspired me a lot. And the film I mentioned to you about, Shantathiruk Kotara, it had the ending scene, the climax scene, actually was shot with entirely. So the entire house was filled with candles, and that I think probably has, in your young mind, you probably creates an impression. One of my favorite films is Nostalgia by Andrei Tarkovsky, and that has a lot of use of candles. Tarkovsky usually uses a lot of candles, and he used a lot of innovative. Like there's a innovative techniques. There's a famous torchlight sequence in Ivan's childhood also. So he is a huge inspiration. I think if you ask any independent filmmaker, they will probably 50% of them will tell you on the Tarkovsky's name. I'm pretty sure of that. So he's such a huge influence in for modern day filmmakers. So that I think those elements are there. The films you watch, you learn from them. Right. The stories you read, you learn from them, you get inspiration from them. So that's quite natural. Apart from that, I think what really stuck to me was in my grandma's home, which is a sprawling, big, spatial house. And I used to, I remember when 20 years ago, 25 years ago, when I was a little child, you did not have any inverter, you did not have any, backup for electricity. So when there was a power cut, it was a big house. We used to light candles and lanterns
Mm.
over the house, and it looked remarkable. And that image has still stuck with me. I mean, I when I go to my grandmother's place now, and it's of course it's now a modern place. It's very different from it used to be. We have inverters, so when there's a power cut, we always get an electricity back immediately. No need for lanterns or candles anymore. So, but I miss those days, and that time my grandma used to tell horror stories. So that had a different feeling, right? That has a lot of those memories come back to you, but those images also stay with you. And that particular image of lighting the entire house, just the corners, with candles or with lanterns, that had a lot of. I love that illumination that candles give, and that I think it looks extremely cinematic. So there's something called photographer's element. You
Yeah.
need to, or I love to provide in my script certain elements which my photographer can play with, my cinematographer can play with. So in this film also, I have a scene where there's a power cut, and in one of the rooms that there you can find only candles, and the exterior part of the room there you can find the use of lanterns. So different illumination, different way of playing with light, and my DOP has utilized it very well. So yeah, it's just photographer's element. It makes it things interesting. It makes you it yeah, I've always felt that Um, if you watch this film, also you'll realize that at certain points in the narrative, when there's a power cut and there's a kind of deliberative, quiet mood that sets in, that goes well with the kind of narratives I deal with. And then the candle illumination kind of speaks to it. It gives a different vibe. It kind of makes things look a bit different. I love that. I love the illumination. Of course, you need to get it right. Also, when you're lighting the scene, otherwise it doesn't look good. But I have been fortunate enough to work with DOPs who have excelled in lighting those scenes, and not over lighting it, or keeping it too much dark. So it's just proper illumination I have gotten. So I'm really happy with that.
Yeah, it's interesting actually because it looks good on the screen also, and I understand the impression that you carry in your brain from your past, so that also matters. But the unique part that I found was from your movies was the elderly part, which is I guess we haven't seen much in other pictures. So if we get to see more, it's good. So if you talk about
Yeah,
sympathy, empathy, and then also trying to bring their picture out, is important because that area is not touched by many. So if you touch that area is very unique.
yeah,
And
yeah.
it's important to also bring it
That
out. So that's what I feel.
yeah, that demography is often marginalized. We don't tell their stories, or rather, I should say, we don't offer their perspectives on screen.
Right.
So
So
yeah, I think
yeah, so even I was just to remember have a glimpse of that. I was actually looking at a movie yesterday, which is turning 30. That's a movie Indian picture. Suddenly, I was just scrolling and I saw that, and there was the same concept in that movie also, where they were talking about there was a campaign. She had to have that campaign, and she was not able to get the right idea. But the moment she talked about 50s, early 50s or 40s, bringing those females on the ground and have that campaign, it was a huge hit.
yeah,
So even that movie also talks
yeah,
about the
yeah,
same thing, trying to bring that space in on the screen. So yeah, I can.
yeah.
Okay, very interesting. So. So moving to the next question. So about your short films to the features, The Secret in the Wind. So let's just dive
Yeah.
into your feature films in development, The Secret in the Wind. What inspired the story and what is the journey behind the story, the collaboration with the producers across Europe and finalizing a Hollywood lead. So just tell us more about that, please.
Yeah, so I've been developing this project for 4 or 5 years now, and it got stalled due to COVID, for which I made the short film because I was not doing anything, and there was a long gap. Last short film I made was in 2019, just before COVID. So that's why my producers also encouraged me that you should make this short film. Also because that this is a very extremely feminist film, because through the this love story between these two queer elderly individuals, we have addressed patriarchal repression. And the feature film, The Secret in the Wind, the working title of the film, but the story borders on radical feminism. And I have done a lot of research for this film, and the narrative is has been praised by a lot of programmers, distributors, producers. I'm so looking forward to working with it. So what inspired me, I would say, is that firstly, India is a highly misogynistic country. There's no point in hiding that. It's a deep-rooted misogyny that you can, and latent misogyny also. So if you talk to a about women, you'll probably not find it out, but in certain areas, certain instances, it just comes out. And I have so many male friends, so many friends I know, and even female friends who are not feminists at all. So it's a very screwed area in India at the moment. India is always seems to be in a transition phase, isn't it? So with everything. So with this also, when it comes to women empowerment, India is lagging behind very, very much. So I think what inspired me first was that how Bollywood represented feminism. Bollywood reduced feminism to mere sexual emancipation of women. The only reason they did that was because they wanted sex to sell. That is the way to lure and entice audience, sex-starved audience to your cinema hall. That's it. But feminism is much more than that, and it's not only even bodily autonomy. It was about sexual emancipation. So because bodily autonomy also consists of reproductive rights and health related things. So it's they did not address those. I have not seen any films that deal with them without sensationalizing the topic or without titillation. But feminism is even more has a wider spectrum. It's just not bodily autonomy. There are legal rights. There are education. There are employment. For example, in Secret in the Wind, there's a big chunk where we have addressed gender pay gap, and those are extremely latent. So they exist in our society, but we kind of know subconsciously they
Yeah.
are, but we don't address them and we don't deal with them, and people don't really care. Uh, India always, if you talk to anyone here, they will tell you, "Hey, we have bigger problems." So everything becomes a bigger problem, and then you have got all the problems. So it's so I think that inspired me. I wanted to tell a story, and there were a couple of films. Definitely, A Question of Silence, the Dutch film, which inspired me a lot, and there are a lot of filmmakers also, and I just want to tell a story where the tables are turning in favor of women, and that's why I said radical feminism. So it might be a bit extreme in the film where it has gone, but I just felt this story. I resonated with it so much, and I have seen. I'll tell you honestly, when I've told narrated the story to men and women, I have found different feedback. So women have loved it. Men also liked it, but they just felt that I was being harsh on the leading male character the way I've dealt with it. So yeah, this gap, this difference will always be there. But I am very much focused on telling this story, and I really want this story to come out, people to watch it, especially in this country. Um, but as you know, it's very difficult to get backing in a country where sexist, misogynistic films earn 500 crores. I'm not going to name the film, but you're probably aware of which film I'm talking about. And these films earn in millions, where so it's very difficult to get backing from producers or financiers for a film that is a feminist film and that is not commercialized, not mainstream, and not at all sensationalizing the topic. So I think that's why I started approaching producers abroad. I have a producer in Hungary, Valentin Noniela, who is producing the film, and we also have Andres Muhi as a co-producer who has won the Golden Berlin Bear for On Body and Soul and was also nominated for Oscar. I have the crew, the DOP from that film only, who is going to shoot the film. So, The Secret in the Wind, the feature film I'm developing. So, I started working on in films, I think it was from 2020, 2021 onwards. So, it's 4 or 5 years now. And it was part of NFDC's Film Bazaar top. It was chosen as among the top 20 South Asian projects for the co-production market. Unfortunately, that time COVID was there, and therefore we the entire market took place online. There were no physical meetings, and as we've already discussed in the podcast before, so how it's important to go to an event physically and network. So online, we did not gain any traction after that. Usually, film projects that go to co-production markets, they are made within a 2 3 year time span. So and I think all the other projects that were with us in that market, they are also, some of them, most of them are actually stuck. So yeah, we did not get any traction because that time people were not interested in investing in films. It was an uncertain period. The second wave had just gone by, so it was not people were not focused on cinema or not thinking about arts anyway. This country don't think about arts anyway, and now after COVID it was extremely difficult. So the project got stalled after that, and that's why my producers and my friends told me that you need to make something, and that's the reason I made the short film. The short film was not in the plans at all. I made my last shot in 2019. I just wanted to focus on The Secret in the Wind, making a feature film. But since it was a long time and I was not doing anything, the project was stalled. I thought that it's better I make this short film. And Yeah, so it was a good decision because the shot turned out to be successful, and it has given me a much needed traction that is probably going to help us find the finishing funds. We have 50% equity in Europe because this is a bilingual feature film and it has foreign actors and shooting in Hungary also. Valentin Noniela from Hungary is producing this film. We have Andres Mohi as a co-producer who is a Golden Berlin Bear winner and who has also won was nominated for an Academy Award for Best Foreign Language Film in 2018. So he's an esteemed figure, and I'm so lucky to have him on board. So the film he was nominated for was On Body and Soul. The DOP of that film is also shooting my film. So we have some of the cast and crew from abroad, and we have also locked in a Hollywood actor. I can't divulge the name now, we have an LOI from him, and we are really excited about it. We are now, right now, we have an Indian producer. So Tushar Tyagi, who has produced Jasmine, also is producing my feature film. And along with Nikita Ivanenko. So Nikita and I journey. I started working with Nikita on my first film onwards. So he has been really supportive and he is there from me right from the start of my filmmaking career. So he's also succeeded in this film as an exec producer. So right now we are focusing on raising the finishing funds and attaching the Indian actress because the story involves a foreign male lead and an Indian female lead. And regarding the inspiration part, I must tell you that I have
Your sound
for a
has
long time. Even I have gauged the times from the media villages like of Joan of Arc to so yeah. So regarding the inspiration, I must tell you that I have gauged on a lot of feminist literature. Even before conducting the research on The Secret in the Wind, my I have always been an avid reader, especially in my childhood days, and I am naturally attracted to women-centric stories. India is a deeply misogynistic country. It's the deep-rooted patriarchy I have seen and I have witnessed, and I have also like experienced in my younger days also. I have male friends, female friends who are not feminists at all, and interacting with them, you can see how deep rooted misogyny is and how latent it is. You speak to them, you won't realize it at first, but if you delve deeper, there are it will come out in instances, and that will shock you. So I think that has kind of made an impression on me, created an impression on me, and as that's why I was naturally attracted to women-centered stories. That's probably one of the reasons why my all the protagonists are elderly women in my short films. So I really wanted to tell this story because I found that in a country where which is lagging behind when it comes to women empowerment, and which is so the patriarchal society is so fearful here, and you have seen the instances. So my previous short film, by the way, The Red Cap, dealt with rape cases in India, and some of the information that is available in the public domain is so shocking, and it will actually give you like it will give you nightmares. So I also used to work just for a voluntary assignment. I used to work for an NGO 15 years ago when I did the transcription work for them where they interviewed a lot of women from the rural villages, from remote villages who are getting raped every other day and they were not aware of it. So I have always been involved in these, and I think that probably shaped the narrative of Secret in the Wind. I have included so many things in it. It's a deeply layered, richly textured story. And in the story, I have also paid homage, a silent homage to many, many feminist icons. One of the primary reasons I must tell you that is that Bollywood have the way feminism, Bollywood has dealt with feminism. They have actually not dealt with feminism. I'd say they have reduced it to just their own, to just a narrative that actually, helps them earn money, and that's it. And that is reducing feminism to mere sexual emancipation of women. It's not even bodily autonomy, which includes reproductive rights, health related issues. It's just focusing on sex to sell it because that will lure a big chunk of audience to the screens and or to the OTTs or whatever. So that's how Bollywood has, and it is it's one of the most anti-woman vehicles in the world. If you ask me, if in Bollywood there is a thing called item number, which we are all aware of. So where women are regularly commodified and objectified in songs, and every mainstream big successful films are there. So yeah, that's the reason I think, as a reaction to how Bollywood has represented feminism, I thought of telling a story that borders on radical feminism, that talks about women and about all the facets, or some of the facets which I can cover in my film, which are extremely important from an intersectional feminism point of view. And there are a couple of films I must mention about A Question of Silence, a Dutch masterpiece that inspired me a lot. And I think, yeah, I am really looking forward to telling this story. Especially, I think people in India must see this story and watch this film. Hopefully, it gets made. I had to rely on foreign funding because I won't find any backers for a feminist film in India. The kind of films which hit the theaters and earn millions, 500 crores, 1,000 crores are extremely misogynistic films. I'm not going to name them, but we are all aware of it. So the situation is terrible when it comes to women in general in India and how they're represented in cinema. The secret in the win challenges those norms, and that it will break a lot of stereotypes. So I'm really looking forward to, you know, making this film and getting it out as soon as possible.
Okay, so we wish you all the best for this effort. I can understand you're trying to have a transition in your approach. And so these other challenges people would face, what people think is that there's no issue with the director producer. There's everything smooth and glossy. Everything is shiny and good. So that's where this podcast matters, where people should realize that, okay, every industry has some challenges. And even when they frame some films and new ideas, they also have some challenges where, there's a diverse opinion about how things are,
Yeah,
how things should
it's
be.
an uphill struggle.
Right, it's a
Yeah, yeah,
struggle
it's an
actually, which
uphill
everybody
struggle to
faces.
make.
So we don't see that struggle behind the movie. We see the nice picture on the other side, and we assume everything is good, shine. So
Yeah.
that's how it is. Okay. So moving to the next question about your future visions, which I've already have understood to some extent through the podcast. But then, what is your encouragement from the industry visions and the insights that came across so far? So you have been working on major projects with the producers on board. So what's your vision for the next 5 years, and both in terms of your filmmaking and your personal goals, like publishing the poetry collections? And because you also are a content writer, right, somewhere you're also working as an editor in the publishing house. So what is your plan with that in the future, in the next 5-10 years?
Yeah, you're talking about the challenges, and said it's an uphill battle. It's an uphill struggle because, especially when not making mainstream films, commercial films. So in India, art and aesthetics take a backseat. It's no country for artists, I say, whenever I go to film festivals abroad. So it's extremely difficult, and you see more and more filmmakers are actually trying to collaborate with foreign producers. It's just not me. There are many independent filmmakers who are actually getting funding and support from foreign producers and grants, government grants and labs. So these are there to help independent filmmakers all over the world to tell the stories we want to tell, which are relevant and pertinent stories, and not just focus on commercializing or sensationalism. And I think, yeah, I work as an editor for a reputed publishing house, international publishing house. I want to continue working there because it's difficult to earn your bread and butter just working on films, you know. So you need every filmmaker has some kind of day job or something. So yeah, this is something that is complementary to what I do, that is filmmaking. I love to read and edit manuscripts, and that also helps me gain a lot of knowledge because I deal with manuscripts which are in the category of social sciences, humanities, and I read a lot of interesting stuff every day and edit them. So yeah, that just I feel also kind of nourishes me. And those manuscripts belong to any, I mean, European, American, Indian, Southeast Asian. So a lot of narratives. I gain a lot of ideas from them also. So I love this work, I love this job that I'm doing. And apart from that, I am also not only a filmmaker and screenwriter. I've also produced films. I'm exec producing a Russian feature film. I've also been a creative producer of a short film that has been to many film festivals, uh, and won at an Oscar qualifying film festival. And I have produced an international web series and won one episode of it, which won the best TV pilot at New Jersey Film Awards. It's a docudrama. It's a British docudrama. I'm also currently producing a short documentary for an Indian filmmaker, and another Russian feature film is also on the horizon. So it's a Russia, Europe, Central Europe collaboration. So I'm also producing that. I'd like to be associated with some interesting stories and interesting topics. So I am looking to collaborate with these young filmmakers also who are just trying to make their name, and they are also my friends, they are also colleagues, acquaintances. And yeah, that's what I'm focusing. But the main primary focus from a filmmaking point of view, since I'm a director firstly more than anything, is to make the secret in the wind. Right now, we are actually enjoying the success of Jasmine the Blooms in Autumn. So the immediate focus would probably be to take this to more festivals. We've already been selected at a very reputed film festival in Central Europe. I can't announce it publicly right now until August. I have to wait. So I'm probably going to travel there as well, or my producers will. And we want to screen it at more festivals. We are talking to a distributor in the States also who want to acquire our film. So that will probably help us gain more exposure and reach out to a larger audience. Because at the end of the day, you want more and more people to watch your film. So film festivals give you that platform, but you also need to release the film. I want to release the short film, even if for free at some point in time. But yeah, there are some distributors who are interested in buying the film, so we are dealing with them. Once this is done, probably this year I'm going to take to write and refine the script further. As I said, I'm probably writing the script right now with another woman filmmaker from Europe whose filmmaking sensibilities are which align with mine. So that is why I think we will probably do justice to this story. And we are also attaching the lead actress simultaneously. Once this is done, once Jasmine has completed the festival circuit, I think we are going to move on to the feature film. Yeah, and that is really an exciting time. I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah, because I can realize how you wear so many hats and you have so much on the plate. I don't know how easy it is for you to balance everything and then, bring the best picture on the
It's
screen.
not.
So, yeah.
It's not. I have to sacrifice my sleep for that.
I can understand. I can understand. I could see that actually, but yeah, maybe it will actually, bring you very fruitful results in the future. So yeah, that's okay. Maybe after some point in time, you'll be feeling happy about that, I'm sure. So okay, so any advice or any life statement for the audience that you would like to give to the audience, whosoever is trying to be in the same domain, or they're trying to be an actor or producer, director, whoso has the same mission, because there's a lot of different story we got to hear from you as compared to what we actually know, and we assume. So, any advice for them, the youngsters who want to be in the same domain?
See, My father had a very funny thing. Whenever they asked that we want to make films, I said, "Don't." There are a lot of filmmakers. Do something else. It's very difficult job to be a filmmaker, to be an artist in India. So there's no. I'm not going to sugarcoat it and say that yeah, just start bring out a camera and shoot something, because at the end of the day, you're going to find that you find yourself in that pit where you are unable to distribute your film. So you have to be ready. You have to need that. You need the mental strength to endure this, because not going to be all the time glitter and glitz and glamour all the time. So there is going to be a time where it's a very difficult creative process, and filmmaking is a team effort, so you need to learn man management also. I have learned that in a very hard way. It's not a director's film, it's not a producer's film, it's everyone's film. So this is so important. So one advice I definitely give is that learn man management and learn to work as a team. Otherwise, your film will fall flat. So everyone's opinions matters, and everyone is an important part of your film. So you have to respect everyone, and you need to have a proper team before you start shooting the film. I suffered in my last short film. I worked with a very dicey team, some local Tollywood members, yeah, filmmaking from the filmmaking fraternity. Whatever is left of it, it's not even in industry anyway now. It's a dead rubber. So I call them, it's a gutter that sometimes coughs out sewage. So it's a pathetic industry. The commercial industry is dead here in Bengal. So some of the people, they got involved and tried to ruin my film. So you have to be very careful as to what are the people you're working with. For
Yeah,
Jasmine, I had an excellent team, and you can see the results of that. So we are so happy also with it. So, and that is the thing. I probably give that advice, and to the audience, I'll just only say that support independent films. Support means you have to pay and watch them, because that is important. It's not
that's
just
important.
download from the torrents and watch. Yeah, so there are
Yes,
film independent films
don't
which
support
are
piracy,
releasing
right?
in theaters.
Don't support
Yeah,
piracy.
no.
Yeah,
So they're releasing in theaters in probably a single screen, probably one show. Even if it's one show, just go and watch that film. That actually matters a lot. Yeah.
that's a very sensible advice. Being from the, I was thinking that the podcast would lead us to some glossy pictures and those kind of talks. The real challenges that you've brought through this conversation is very important, and I hope the youngsters understand who are trying to enter this industry, and then because of course once they enter they face a lot of challenge, and maybe we could have this kind of same stories to be heard in the future from them also, but then make a very sensible selective choice when you're working with people, with the right selection of people, and then
Yeah.
also choosing the right career for yourself, unless until you really want to struggle, and then because it's not
Yeah. Okay.
as good as it seems on the screen. So everything on the screen is not true, which is okay. Yeah, okay. So thank you so much for
Yeah.
finding out this much time. I really appreciate, and I
And
the truthfulness that you have brought on the screen through the podcast. I hope the audience benefit and they would like the conversation. And it was good to know you once again. And I wish you all the best for your films. We wish you all the best for your upcoming awards. You won award recently, so we congratulate you for that also. And it was I'm
yeah.
looking forward to the next picture, the next short movie that you're producing. So we'll see, and we'll support you for that from the side of our
Thank you.
team
Thank you
and the
so
audience.
much.
So thank you so much for being here. It was nice to have
Thank
you.
you so much. Thank you so much for having me. Yeah, it's great talking to you.
Yeah, same here. Thank you. It's a pleasure. So this was with us in the house, Mr. Chandradeep Das. He has been working as an associate producer of an episode of British documentary drama mini-series that has won the Best TV Pilot at the New Jersey Film Festival Awards and a few other international awards, which is available on Apple TV and Amazon Prime Video. So go check it out. Apart from this, he has been working as a creative producer of an India-Kuwait short film, A Lullaby for Yellow Roses, that was screened at the prestigious fest like Brussels, Flickerfest, London, and won the Best Social Justice Film at the Oscar-qualifying Tasveer Film Festival Awards. So he's the one having a lot of feathers to his hat, and he has been working as an executive producer of a Russian independent feature film, New Sincerity. The team has been planning to release on OTT in Russia. So Mr. Das was a co-writer and assistant to his father, eminent filmmaker, late Mr. Anjan Das, whose films were regularly feted at the A-listed festivals like Rotterdam, BFI London, etc. He co-wrote with his father's last film, which was premiered at the International Film Festival of India in 2013. Mr. Das then has gone on to write and to produce few short films that have been obtaining European distribution and was selected at the hundreds of prestigious film festivals across the globe, like BFI Flare at the NFDC Film Bazaar co-production market as a couple of years ago. This is a brief about the speaker for the day today. And I hope you like the conversation because it was a very truthful and transparent conversation, which has no filter attached to it. There's a very important parameter that we have been discussing on the podcast today, and I wish the youngsters and people who watch the episode would sensibly look at it and consider those parameters and those points before choosing that up as a part of their career, before going ahead in making their career choices. Another aspect of the podcast was to not go ahead with piracy. So another important parameter was to go to the theaters to watch the movies and buy and purchase the movies before you watch them, because we should not be supporting piracy at all. So I would recommend, and I was just please go through, come together, and we should actually go for the right thing, go for the right ethical measure for entertainment also, pay and purchase and then watch a movie. The link of the movies that he has produced and directed, I will actually be sharing that in the podcast in the comment section below. So kindly go through it. I hope you like the movies, the short pictures. There have been a lot of efforts behind, a lot of thinking, brainstorming, and efforts behind those movies. So please support, like, share, and also spread the word in the community so everybody gets to know about it. And then it's a very unfiltered conversation, I would say, because whenever we look at the film industry, we assume there's a lot of shiny pictures that we come across in the industry on the screen also, and we assume that life is so smooth for them. So through this podcast, I hope you'll understand and get to know how struggles and challenges have come across their own path, and how the producers, directors, and also in terms of fundraising, they face a lot of issues and challenges. And in trying to brainstorm about the theme they're supposed to have for their movies, or either to what kind of human resource they're supposed to have an association with as a part of their movies. So a lot of things are supposed to be learned from the podcast, and that's what the purpose is today. So I hope you like the conversation. I hope you like the podcast today. And any kind of questions and queries, please DM in the comment section below. And you can write there, you can mention your questions there, or you can directly DM us on the handles on Instagram and YouTube. We wish him all the best for his upcoming productions, his movies, his pictures. In case you want to be the next on the podcast, kindly DM us on Instagram or comment below in the YouTube. We'll get back to you 100%, and we'll make sure you are on the channel with us for more such conversations and interesting unfiltered talks of common people and unsung stories. Like, share, subscribe, and also wait until the next week, next time when we'll be back again on the same channel, same platform, same time, with the same host. So until then, I wish you all the best. Have a good day. And this is your host signing off.